Hello everyone, my name is Chloe Kinnery, and today I'm going to be talking about the Joker. Together we are going to analyze the Joker's mind and come to a conclusion about possible mental health issues. First, let's start off with identifying some of Arthur Fleck's, otherwise known as the Joker's, symptoms. Arthur exhibits a number of different symptoms. Let's start off with his socially atypical behavior.
I forgot to punch out.
Next is his apparent case of the pseudobulbar effect. PBA, according to Mayo Clinic, is a condition that is characterized by episodes of sudden, uncontrollable, and inappropriate laughing or crying. It typically occurs in people with certain neurological conditions or injuries which can affect the way the brain controls emotion. He also shows disorganized thinking and behavior and active suicidal ideation. An example of this ideation is when he writes in his journal, "I just hope my death makes more sense than my life," and when he more than once in the movie pretends to commit suicide as a form of comedy.
Knock, knock.
Throughout the film, it is pretty obvious that Arthur suffers with some sort of depression in addition to lack of energy and low self-esteem. He goes through constant bullying and becomes the victim of many people that he passes.
All I have are negative thoughts.
Hear my name, Carnival.
As a way to cope with his negative thoughts and sadness, it seems that Arthur turns to what he thinks are comedic actions that help pull him through. On another note, the Joker displays having erotomaniac delusions. According to a scientific journal, this form of delusion is when someone thinks that another person is in love with them. It comes to our attention that Arthur was imagining that his neighbor was falling in love with him, when in reality, she barely knew who he was, and it was his delusional erotomania that caused him to see her wherever he went. Arthur shows signs of paranoia. In one scene, police officers are chasing Arthur through the city. One question that I asked myself is it possible that the policemen were not real? There wasn't evidence at the time that Arthur had killed or hurt anybody yet, so could this chase instead have been another delusion of his, but instead in a form of paranoia? Lastly is grandiosity. This is when someone has an exaggerated sense of their own power or importance, making them have larger-than-life feelings. The final scene of the movie hints that the entire story could have been one grandiose delusion.
What's so funny?
Arthur could have been laughing about everything he just came up with, and when the psychologist asks, he simply says that she wouldn't get it. Maybe because the story was all in his head and too long to tell. Regardless, if this story is true or not, there are many scenes where Arthur exhibits grandiosity.
That's life.
Now let's take a look at all the symptoms. When brought together, it can be seen that there are three different categories: schizophrenic symptoms, depressive symptoms, and manic symptoms. When you combine these three categories, we are brought to schizoaffective disorder. Schizoaffective disorder, as defined by the textbook, is a disorder that is marked by symptoms of both schizophrenia and major depressive episode or a manic episode. According to the National Center for Biotechnology Information, the diagnosis criteria for this disorder include uninterrupted duration of illness during which there is a major mood episode, 2 or more of the following presentations during a 1-month period which include negative thoughts and catatonic behavior, hallucinations and delusions for 2 or more weeks in the absence of a major mood episode during the entire lifetime duration of the illness. Symptoms that meet the criteria for a major mood episode are present for the majority of the total duration of the active and residual portions of the illness, and the disturbance is not the result of the effects of a substance, drug of misuse, or a medication, or another underlying medical condition. Moving on to treatment. For schizoaffective disorder, treatment includes medication, psychotherapy, and electroconvulsive therapy. In more detail, medication includes antipsychotics, which are used to target psychosis and aggressive behavior, in addition to symptoms such as delusions and hallucinations. Mood stabilizers are used for patients who have periods of distractibility, grandiosity, increased goal-directed activity, and/or who are hyperverbal. Antidepressants are used to target depressive symptoms such as negative thoughts. In the movie, Arthur is shown a few times taking medication. This medication is most likely used to help treat the severity of his symptoms. Another form of treatment is psychotherapy. This includes individual therapy, which is aimed to normalize thought processes and better help the patient understand the disorder in order to reduce symptoms. These sessions focus on everyday goals, social interactions, and conflicts using social skills and vocational training. Another form of psychotherapy is family or group therapy. Family education helps in compliance with medications and appointments and helps provide structure throughout the patient's life. Group therapy programs help the patient when experiencing social isolation and allows for a sense of shared experiences. Throughout the movie, Arthur is seen participating in individual therapy where he aims to talk about himself. He doesn't, however, participate in group therapy or family therapy since he doesn't really have any family besides his mother who doesn't seem to be able to take care of him. Lastly, electroconvulsive therapy is a last resort treatment option. It is most common for patients with catatonia and aggression. This treatment is safe and effective for most chronically hospitalized patients. If schizoaffective disorder is not treated, there are many complications that can arise in both social functioning and activities of daily living. These include unemployment, isolation, impaired ability to self-care, and other ramifications. Studies have shown that 5% of people with a psychotic illness will commit suicide over their lifetime. Among all completed suicides, research has shown that 10% are attributable to those with a psychotic illness. According to the National Alliance on Mental Health, schizoaffective disorder is relatively rare, with a lifetime prevalence of only 0.3%. Men and women experience schizoaffective disorder at the same rate, but men often develop the illness at an earlier age. Could Arthur Fleck be part of that 0.3%? Hopefully after this video, I have proved to you why I believe he is. Thank you for watching.